The Kansas City Chiefs dynasty continues to ascend, while their former superstar wideout, Tyreek Hill, spirals into uncertainty with the Miami Dolphins. The sharp contrast between these two paths has evolved into one of the NFL's most gripping sagas, spotlighting how one franchise's shrewd, disciplined vision forged a dynasty, while another's gamble is imploding in spectacular fashion. Hill's volatile relationship with Miami reached a stunning low this week, when the Dolphins unveiled their 2025 team captains, conspicuously excluding the veteran receiver, who had proudly sported the C patch for 3 straight seasons. This was no mere ceremonial omission. It was a scathing verdict on Hill's leadership, loyalty, and commitment to an organization that sacrificed massive draft assets and financial treasure to acquire him. The unraveling truly began during Miami's disappointing 2024 campaign, when Hill made the astonishing choice to sideline himself in the team's pivotal Week 18 matchup. That act of abandonment sent tremors through the Dolphins' front office and fan base, both of whom had invested heavily in the belief that Hill was the missing link for a championship push. His subsequent public flirtations with leaving Miami only inflamed the wound further. ESPN insider Dan Graziano captured the fracture perfectly on GetUp, noting that the captaincy snub epitomizes Hill's deteriorating standing. The drama reached its climax when quarterback Tua Tagovailoa boldly addressed the issue, urging Hill to mend fractured relationships within the locker room. Such rare public criticism from a teammate speaks volumes about the discord Hill's actions have sparked. His ensuing apology rang hollow, more strategic spin than genuine remorse. The ultimate indictment? His own teammates refused to re-elect him as captain despite his elite on-field production. For a player of Hill's stature to lose such a foundational leadership role underscores deep character concerns that transcend the gridiron. Meanwhile, in Kansas City, General Manager Brett Veach stands vindicated for his audacious 2022 decision to trade Hill. What initially looked like a risky move capable of derailing the Chiefs' title dreams has instead become a textbook case in roster mastery and organizational philosophy. The trade has aged like vintage wine, its brilliance more obvious with each passing season as the trajectories of the Chiefs and Dolphins diverge dramatically. The financial dimension only magnifies Kansas City's wisdom. Miami immediately locked Hill into a 4-year, $120 million extension, a deal the Chiefs pointedly declined. Their hesitation was not born of fiscal incapacity, but of a profound awareness of Hill's character risks and diminishing long-term value. Kansas City's brain trust understood that wagering such resources on a mercurial personality could erode their championship culture. Veach's decision to capitalize on Hill's peak value while cleansing the locker room of potential toxicity has proven prophetic. The Chiefs recognized that while Hill's electrifying speed was undeniable, his volatile demeanor could prove combustible in an environment that demands absolute unity. The haul Kansas City received from Miami laid the bedrock for continued dominance. The Dolphins surrendered first and second and fourth round picks in 2022, plus fourth and sixth rounders in 2023. An arsenal of draft capital that granted Veach the flexibility to re-engineer the roster to his championship blueprint. The 2022 NFL Draft, fueled by this windfall, stands as Veach's magnum opus. Each strategic selection fortified Kansas City's defensive identity and offensive depth, telling a story of organizational foresight, ruthless discipline, and intelligent architecture.
Cornerback Trent McDuffie, secured with the 21st overall pick via a savvy trade with New England, has ascended into the ranks of the league's premier young defensive stalwarts. McDuffie's rapid development has been pivotal to Kansas City's defensive renaissance, supplying both the coverage acumen and leadership presence that have elevated their secondary into elite territory. His reliability has empowered the Chiefs to unleash more aggressive defensive schemes, while still maintaining unshakable trust in their pass defense. Meanwhile, New England's decision to invest Kansas City's original first-round selection, 29th overall, in guard Cole Strange has unraveled into a cautionary tale of draft misjudgment. Strange's recent release by the Patriots stands as a sobering reminder of how drastically organizations can diverge in their evaluations of talent and positional value. While the Patriots reached for a guard at premium draft cost, the Chiefs parlayed their capital into impact players at cornerstone positions. The ripple effects of the Tyreek Hill trade radiated far beyond the initial transaction. New England flipped Kansas City's 2022 third-rounder to Carolina, which became quarterback Matt Corral, a prospect unceremoniously cut before the 2023 season. Even more telling is the saga of defensive back Jack Jones, drafted by the Patriots with a fourth-round pick originating from Kansas City. Jones barely lasted 18 months in New England before being shipped to Las Vegas, epitomizing the instability and roster mismanagement that has plagued the franchise in recent years. Perhaps the most poetic twist of the Hill trade saga is the journey of wide receiver Tyquan Thornton back to Kansas City. The Patriots selected him 50th overall in 2022 with a second-rounder from the Chiefs, via Miami. After failing to carve out a role in New England's system, Thornton was released midway through his third season, only to sign with Kansas City's practice squad in November 2024. Thornton's arrival in Kansas City symbolizes the ultimate irony. The Chiefs traded away a problematic superstar, and through a winding chain of events, ended up with a young receiver boasting similar blazing speed, but free of the same character baggage. With Rashee Rice suspended for 6 games, Thornton enters the 2025 season, perfectly positioned for a breakout campaign. An opportunity aligning seamlessly with Kansas City's championship pursuit. While Hill wrestles with leadership conflicts and organizational turbulence in Miami, the Chiefs have methodically assembled a sustainable blueprint for dominance. One that refuses to hinge on a single individual's brilliance or personality. Kansas City's philosophy emphasizes character, selflessness, and collective buy-in, crafting a locker room where players fully embrace their roles within a championship ecosystem. The philosophical gulf between Miami and Kansas City could not be clearer. Miami's gamble on Hill epitomized a short-sighted win-now strategy that elevated individual talent above cultural cohesion. They believed Hill's dynamic playmaking could single-handedly vault them into Super Bowl contention. Instead, they've learned the hard truth. Talent without character often breeds chaos rather than championships. Kansas City's measured patience has yielded sustained excellence that shows no sign of fading. By balancing talent with character, they've cultivated a winning culture that not only attracts high-caliber players, but also maximizes their collective potential. Every member of the roster understands their assignment and embraces the sacrifices demanded by championship glory. This contrast extends beyond Hill himself. It reflects the divergent trajectories of the two organizations. Miami's inconsistency, coaching upheavals, and revolving roster reveals systemic fragility, leaving them susceptible to the drama Hill embodies. Meanwhile, the Chiefs stride into the upcoming season opener against the Chargers in São Paulo, Brazil, carrying the poise of an empire built on strategic roster building and steadfast organizational principles. Chiefs fans should feel immense pride in how their front office navigated the Hill trade saga. What are your thoughts on Brett Veach's masterclass in roster construction? Smash that like button and subscribe for more Chiefs insight. Let me break down exactly why this should have Chiefs fans doing cartwheels in their living rooms. Before that injury struck him down like a thunderbolt, Rice was absolutely scorching opposing defenses. In just 4 games, yes, only 4, he tallied 24 receptions, 288 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's not just good. That's elite, game-breaking production that had defensive coordinators across the league staying up at night trying to scheme against him. And now he's coming back at the perfect time. Kansas City's receiving unit has undergone a major transformation. DeAndre Hopkins, who brought veteran poise and reliable hands, has left for Baltimore, opening the door wide for Rice to ascend into the WR1 role. Everyone knows he's got the chops to own it. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Travis Kelce, a future Hall of Famer and the heart of this offense, is turning 36 in October. While he's still playing at an elite level, the Chiefs must begin redistributing offensive responsibilities, and Rashee Rice is primed to shoulder that load. Rice's rookie campaign in 2023 wasn't just solid, it was spectacular. The second-round pick burst onto the scene and immediately rewrote the record books. 7 receiving touchdowns and 79 receptions as a rookie. That's not padding stats in garbage time. Those are clutch, momentum-shifting plays in high-stakes moments. What makes Rice such a threat isn't just his glue-like hands, it's his football intelligence, surgical route running, and uncanny ability to exploit soft spots in coverage. He makes elite defenders look ordinary. And Mahomes thrives when he has trustworthy weapons, and Rice is exactly that. He creates separation, wins contested battles, and turns routine catches into explosive gains. And he's surrounded by a receiving corps that's quietly becoming one of the most lethal in the NFL. Marquise Hollywood Brown brings blazing, speed, and veteran savvy. Juju Smith-Schuster offers grit, clutch instincts, and championship pedigree. Xavier Worthy is already flashing brilliance as a rookie, and Jalen Royals, the 4th-round gem, adds dynamic depth and untapped potential. But Rice is the crown jewel, the potential WR1 who can be the engine of this offense. He's not just talking big, he's exuding belief. He's been vocal about how this group is going to be explosive and light up the scoreboard. And you can feel it. It's not just swagger, it's certainty backed by talent. When you combine Rice's deep threat ability, Worthy's speed, Brown's experience, and Juju's consistency, you're looking at a nightmare matchup for defensive coordinators week after week. Let's not forget, the Chiefs were this close to making NFL history last year, falling just short of a three-peat after a tough loss to Philadelphia. That stung bad. The Eagles exposed a few cracks, the lack of consistent big plays and some heartbreaking drops in critical moments. But now, with Rice back, rejuvenated and ready to dominate. The Chiefs are reloading for another title run, but as last season showed us, even elite dynasties must adapt or fall behind. The issues that plagued Kansas City's offense weren't flukes or bad luck. They were glaring, data-backed weaknesses that simply couldn't be ignored. The Chiefs, ranked 27th in the league in explosive plays per dropback, managing to gain more than 15 yards only 6.2% of the time. That's not championship-caliber production, especially for a team with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. The only teams worse in that category? The Browns, Giants, Patriots, Dolphins, and Bears, all of whom were watching the playoffs from their couches. The numbers get more alarming. Just 6.7 yards per attempt, firmly in the league's lower tier. Only 42 passing plays of 20-plus yards, 6th worst in the NFL. And only 4 passing plays of 40-plus yards, tied for 2nd worst in the entire league. Their longest pass of the season? A modest 54 yards, 3rd worst league-wide. Stats like that don't win rings. They get coordinators fired and postseason dreams shattered. But here's why Rashee Rice changes the equation entirely. This young phenom has a rare blend of explosiveness, precision, and football IQ. He can turn a 5-yard slant into a 50-yard sprint. He separates deep downfield. He improvises when plays break down. And that is exactly the kind of player Kansas City was sorely missing last season. Thank you guys, see you next video.